Hello and welcome back. My name's Phil and you're watching the IELTS Grind. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give us a like. And today we're talking about opinion essays. So this is task 2 writing and we've got an opinion essay prompt for you today. So let's talk about how we would tackle this in the exam. So firstly, let's look at the question. As sophistication of modern telecommunications has grown, interactions between strangers have declined, which is in turn devaluing our society. To what extent do you agree? Okay, so we're in the exam, we've got this question, what do we do? Well, the first thing we need to always think about is what is the task? So this is graded in what's called task response. So how well did you answer the question, or how well did you do the task that you were given? So the first question really to ask yourself is, what type of essay is it? So if we look at the part of the rubric that says, to what extent do you agree? This is telling us that we should be writing an opinion essay. We need to write about what we think. That's great, because as soon as we identify this as an opinion essay, we know exactly the structure that we're going to have to write. Now, if you can't remember that, let's quickly run through it. So an essay is made of 3 main parts: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. So in the introduction for an opinion essay, what we need to do is to firstly rephrase the question. So we need to rephrase the first part of our rubric, the part that says, as the sophistication of modern telecommunications has grown, interaction between strangers have declined, which in turn is devaluing our society. So that part we need to rephrase. In the second sentence of the introduction, we need to say what our opinion is. Straight there in the introduction, we should say what we think, and we should say how strongly we think that. Now, this is my advice to you. Always strongly agree or always strongly disagree. Choose one or the other. Don't try and go down the middle. That's incredibly hard to write. And to be honest, for most of you, you don't need to do this. So either strongly agree or strongly disagree with the question. Remember, the IELTS test is not a test of your morals, your ethics. It's just an English test. So just write the opinion that you can think the most ideas about. So make it easy on yourselves. Okay, so after the introduction, we're going to have to think about the body of the essay. In the body of the essay, we want to have 2 paragraphs, and in each paragraph, you want to think of one reason for your opinion. So you start off your paragraph with a topic sentence introducing that main reason, and the following sentences are all supporting that idea and explaining it and developing that idea. So in the conclusion, you want to begin by saying, in conclusion, because if you don't say in conclusion, then the examiner doesn't know that it is your conclusion. Remember, the examiners are very stupid. You have to tell them everything. And then after that, you're going to restate your opinion and briefly summarize the reasons why, which were the main ideas that you introduced in the body of your essay. Okay, so that's the structure that we need. So let's talk about how we can rephrase that introduction. How can we write that introduction? So what we need to identify is the general topic and the specific issue. What I mean here is you need to stay on topic in order to show the examiner that you've understood the task that's been given to you. So here we're talking about development of technology, but we're not talking about development of cars, for example. We're not talking about the development of medical technology. No, what's the general topic? It's telecommunications, that's it. So the general topic here is modern technology, in particular communications, telecommunications I should say. So that is the general topic. As long as we talk about that, then we're going to show the examiner we've understood the task. But we also need to bring in this idea of this specific issue. What is the question particularly talking about? In this case, it's to do with social interactions. So as long as we talk about how telecommunications has affected the way that people interact, that will get us a good score in task response. If, however, we were talking about how modern telecommunications has led to people losing their job, that is not what the task is about. Okay. So after we've identified the general topic and the specific issue, we're ready to start writing our introduction. So what we need to do is to rephrase that. So I've got an example for you. This is my example introduction. Now, before you hear this, you can pause the video and you can try writing your own introduction and see how closely it is to my own example. Okay, so you can unpause now, and this is my example for an introduction to this essay. With the advent of complex communication devices, people are less inclined to mix with people they don't know, which is making society more isolationist. I strongly agree that the drastic changes we've seen in cultures globally is down to these technological developments. Okay, so that's my example of an introduction that I would write to this essay. So remember that after this, you would have to think of at least 2 ideas for your opinion. So in my case, I might think that the reason that people are less inclined to mix is because they don't feel bored when they're traveling on public transport, so they don't really want to talk to strangers. They have something to distract them. So I could support that with an example. When I travel on the local metro system here, everybody is listening to music or they're sending texts on their mobile phones. So that would be a real life experience from my own experience of this case. So I could use that as one of my supporting sentences. Another reason might be that with the spread of mass news, people are more afraid of interacting with people they don't know because they're afraid of what might happen to them. So this might not sound like the best idea in the world, and perhaps if I sent this essay to the government, they might not change any laws because of it, but that doesn't matter in the IELTS. As long as I can develop the idea, I can give good supporting sentences, and I can give a good example, then I can use any idea that I can think of, as long as I'm linking everything together. Remember, this is not a test of your intelligence, it's just an English test. So I might say, in conclusion, I strongly agree that the development of these technologies has adversely affected socializing in society. And I might then go on to summarize the fact that this is down to people not being as bored as they were in the past, so they don't want to talk. And then I might discuss the idea that generally they may be more afraid of each other than they were in the past. So this is a basic structure to the opinion essay, and as long as you can follow this, you're going to do very well in the IELTS. So, do you have any questions? If so, leave us a comment in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you found this useful. My name's Phil, and you're watching the IELTS Grind, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.